Hello everyone in cyber world, welcome back to another video. I'm Jennifer.
I'm Richard, and this is our channel we call Poor Man's DIY. This week is something that I've been looking forward to. We finally got our xTool M1 Air Assist, and so let's get right into it. I can't tell you how excited I am to actually obtain this and install this onto our M1. For those of you who aren't familiar with what the Air Assist does, think about the laser in itself. It's nothing more than a very intense beam of fire that burns through the wood and allows you to cut it. Unfortunately, when it's burning, smoke and other parts and whatnot will fly up into the lens, in the way of the lens, and so the laser beam itself is not as strong, or it can cause deflections, and so you get a kind of a burning all around the edges of where it's cut. What the Air Assist does is it blows all that smoke and particles out of the way, so you get a clean light and a clean cut that goes all the way around us. Now, if you don't have an Air Assist, you can't afford one, there's other options that you can have. You can actually cut with the laser as is, and when it's done, you can use sandpaper and lightly sand it down and get rid of the burns that way. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, depends on how much of the burn it is on there and what you want to do to get rid of it. Another option that you can do is you can actually put on a masking tape on top and then cut through the tape and the wood, and when you're done, you peel off the tape and there are no burn marks there. Works really well, and that's what we've been using for quite a while now. The only thing about that is it's a lot of work, a lot of time, and if you use that all the time, you're going to go through a lot of tape there, which starts to cost. So this here is going to be the best method for us. So now we're going to go ahead and install that onto our M1. You may have noticed I cheated a little bit by pulling out the bottom plate very easily. In reality, I find it for us, it's much more convenient to just leave the screws out of this. So in order to properly remove it, there are 5 screws located on this here that attach it to the M1 device. You just have to unscrew them, take it out, and then the plate comes out. The reason that I don't use screws is because I frequently find myself taking this out to clean it. After burning, you get a lot of what seems to be kind of a sap from the wood that gets all over, and it's much easier just to take the whole base out and clean it with isopropyl alcohol instead of doing it within the M1 itself. So this is step 1, is to remove this plate. Next, we're going to very gently turn this over, but something to be aware of. The laser head itself, when it's not powered, when you move it, the head itself will shift one way or another based on gravity. Right now, the laser head is on this side. If we were to turn this and flip it over this way, it's going to slam down on its own because of gravity onto the other side. So make sure you think about that before you flip this over. So we're going to just flip it on the side that the laser is already located. And very gently turn it over. Now here's what I was talking about. This is the laser, and it moves when it's not plugged in. We're going to bring this to the center, but as I mentioned, had it been on this side and you lift it up, the whole unit would have slid all the way down to this side, smashing into that. So be careful when you flip it over. Now, the first step we're going to do is we're going to remove this cover here. To do this, we're going to use the screwdriver that was provided in the kit itself and remove 2 tiny screws. And then we're going to remove the cover like that. Okay, you could have removed this at any time, but the next step that we're going to remove is the actual cutting blade. The cutting blade has a blade inside there. This is all held in there by magnet. It very easily pops out. The next step, we're going to remove this here, and we're going to do that using the special tweezers that were provided. There's a hole here and a hole here that this will go into, and turn it to loosen. and it comes out, goes it like that. Now we're going to install what's referred to as the lens mount, and that's just going to go in here. There is a lens cover there. Be careful not to tip that or move that. That has to stay in there nice and level. And simply tighten this. When tightening this, be sure that this runs parallel to this here. Okay, the reason for that is you're going to be putting the air assist mount on it next, and hopefully you can see this here. There's a couple grooves that are going to actually attach on there, and this is held by a magnet, but a very strong magnet. If these pins here are in a different angle, this will only attach in an awkward position. So making sure that this is parallel so that when this is placed on it, it sits in there nice and straight. Okay, this is going to seem a little bit out of sequence. In reality, I did something first during the install and I realized that I ran into a minor problem. So I record this and I'll put this at the front of the video so that you don't make the same mistake. When you attach this hose to the device here that we'll show you in a bit, you need to make sure you use the end of the hose that has this tape on it. This will come into play later to show you exactly where you attach the hose within the M1. I put it on here and I can't get it out. It has a locking device on there. I don't want to force this out. I came up with a different solution. All I did was I used some frog tape. I got the same measurements on this side of the tube, and I'm going to go ahead and use these as markers. Now we'll go ahead and continue explaining exactly what to do with the hose. And now we're going to add the air hose into this. Now you could add it while it's here, or if it's easier, just put it in like that and place it on. Okay, we're now ready to turn this back upside or right side up, but before doing that, make sure that this is moved all the way to the end and in the back. So once again, when you flip it over, it doesn't come sliding down and smash into the other side. Now we're going to be installing these rails on the inner portion of this that will hold the hose along the edges. It has a 3M type tape that you could stick to it. Before using this to put it on, let's go ahead and make sure we do a good job cleaning it off with some rubbing alcohol so that this adheres and doesn't have some film or something slimy or sticky and prevent it from sticking properly. Okay, I'm going to be using a 91% isopropyl alcohol just to make sure we get it nice and clean. Now, I actually clean this every day after using the laser, and I thought it had it really clean, but obviously I was missing a lot of smoke and dust that got on here. So it's really important that you use this alcohol to clean it before putting on the stickers. Along the back side, you're going to install a medium size and a long size clamp. xTool recommends that it be placed at 35 millimeters from the end. So we're going to go ahead and do exactly what they recommend in their instructions. And place it right there, and repeat on the other side. Whoops, that's gonna fall. And I'm sure it doesn't have to be a perfect 30 or 40 millimeters, but I'm a little particular on how I do things, so I'm going to follow the instructions. And then on the side, just center it. And repeat on the opposite side. Okay, this next part is actually going to be attached to the laser, so we need to bring this back out in a place that we can access it. All right, now you'll notice that there are two dots here. They will fit directly in the holes there. Okay, so what you have to do is peel this off. And simple as that. Okay, so now we're going to set the hose into the clamp, and we're going to show you the significance of this. These have been pre-measured out so that they know the right spacing that needs to be available between the attachment, these clamps, and everything else as well. Okay, if you make this too short or too long, the hose isn't going to go around, or it may be too tight and the X and Y axis will not move on the laser and get stuck. So that's why it's very important that you use the lines, the tape that they provided, but in my case, as I mentioned, we're going to go ahead and use the ones that we installed. And finish clamping this off. Okay, now what's really important is to make sure that the laser freely moves to all possible corners without getting tangled up. Okay, looks good. Whenever you are not using the air assist, you just simply move it out of the way and store it along the edge here. Now this can't just dangle, so they came up with this little nice holder here, and we're going to put this in here and then attach it like so, and then we can take it out and put it in like such. We now feed the hose through the bottom and replace the base plate. The final step is to connect the hose to the pump.
Now we're going to perform a test with and without the air assist to see what the difference is. Okay, so now we're going to do a test with the air assist.
Here you can see a clear difference between cutting with an air assist and without. The left has some burns all over the ornament, and it will require a significant amount of sanding to make it look really nice. Whereas the ornament cut with the air assist is ready to go already and looks fantastic. All right, now that turned out really, really well. For weeks now, we've been using our M1. We have made literally hundreds of different Christmas ornaments and several other projects, and we've had to either spend a lot of time sanding down all the burns, or we've been using masking tape, and the masking tape works wonderful, but it takes time to put it on, and then when you have detailed things that are cut out, you have to pick and get those tiny little pieces of tape off, and I've snapped parts and whatnot. So this air assist is just a serious godsend, and I am so grateful that we have that.
So now that we have the air assist, we look forward to making many more projects in the future. So until then, bye-bye.